All right, everybody. Today is the final day of this little short series of making our sourdough sandwich loaves. So this is the best day and the hardest day that you'll have, in my opinion. And that's only because the best day, of course, you get fresh bread today, but also the hardest day because once that comes out of the oven, you shouldn't cut into it for at least probably 30 minutes. So that is the hardest part because when you smell that fresh bread coming out of the oven, that's the first thing you're going to want to do is to cut it open and give it a try. But trust me, just give it about 30 minutes or until it starts to cool down just a little bit before you cut into your bread. So I've got my oven that just finished preheating to 375 degrees. So this is all the equipment that we're going to use today. I've got my cooling rack, I've got my oven. I only have one larger pan that I'm going to use as my lid. So I have to bake my breads separately. If you have more than one, you can absolutely bake your breads together at the same time, but I just do one right after the other so I can use this for the second loaf. What I still have in the fridge is my butter wrapper. So once that bread comes out of the oven after it bakes, I just basically slather the butter on top of it while it cools down. So let's get everything out of the fridge that we're going to need, and I'm going to show you how our bread looks after being in there for a couple days. So right now it's about 8:20 in the morning on Sunday. We started the process on Thursday by feeding our starter. Friday we mixed everything up. We did nothing on Saturday yesterday, and so today's bake day on Sunday. All right, so here is the first loaf we are going to bake. So we're going to take off our cover, and you can see how beautifully that rose in the fridge. There are a bunch of air bubbles on top. So what this probably means is that when this bakes, there will probably be, it'll probably separate from the top a little, which has happened before. It still tastes good. I haven't figured a way on how to correct that yet, other than maybe actually popping the air bubbles. But this is our cheddar and bacon loaf that we're going to cook first. So all we're going to do is just kind of make sure it's not on the side. Let me tell you, if your bread hasn't risen this much in the fridge, it's okay. We're not going to, you can see it's got a little wetness from being in the fridge, which is fine. It's going to help with the steam when it's in the oven. And then we don't score our sandwich loaves or anything, and you'll see how beautifully it actually bakes up in the oven as well. So I'm going to put my cover on here, and all we're going to do is pop this in the oven. We're going to bake it for 30 minutes with this cover on. After 30 minutes, we are going to take this off, cook it for another 10 minutes so it can brown. If you want it browner, you can let it go for another couple minutes. Just keep an eye on it till it's the desired color you like. And then I'll show you what this one looks like while I pop the second loaf into the oven. Do 30 minutes. All right. And I'll join you guys in another 30 minutes when we take the cover off. All right, everybody. Our timer just went off, so it is time to take off the cover in the oven. And hopefully you guys can see it while I'm doing it. It smells so unbelievably delicious in here already. So let's go take this off, and then we're going to set the timer for another 10 minutes. All right, I'll see you in another 10 minutes when we take this out of the oven. All right, 10 minutes is over. Let's pull this out of the oven. Oh, perfect. All right, here we go. This is how our loaf of bread looks. If you want more color on it, you can absolutely leave it in the oven a little longer. Just watch it so it doesn't over brown. But this is the bacon cheese loaf. So what we're gonna do is just pop it right out of the pan right away. You can see all that caramely goodness coming out of the edges from the cheese. I'm gonna put this on our cooling rack. Move that out of the way so it cools. And then what I do right after I pull it out is I've got my butter wrapper. You can see all that leftover butter after we pulled it off, and I'm just gonna kind of slide that over the top and butter the top of my bread right away while it's still piping hot, so be careful. I'm just gonna have this nice delicious buttery flavor. And the only thing is, like I said, we can't cut into this probably for about 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get the next loaf out. We're going to bake that. And then once that's finished, we should be able to cut into this and show you how that looks. So let's go back into the fridge and pull out our second loaf. All right, so here is the second loaf, and you can see it's kind of lopsided based on how we put it in the pan when we went and shaped it. After the first time, I can feel a gigantic air bubble right here. So we'll see how that works out. You can see this one definitely did not rise like the other one did in the oven. It still isn't touching the sides or anything like that, but it's going to be okay. This will still rise in the oven. It's still got a teeny bit of moisture on the top. It is a little hard almost, like it's not sticky or anything. You can see how air bubbly that is. So we're going to go back and do the exact same thing. This is cooled down by now since it was off for 10 minutes, so it's okay to handle, but we're going to put this directly into the oven just like the last one. All right, so that one is in the oven for 30 minutes again, and we will wait before we break into this one, and I'll see you again in another 30 minutes. All right, everybody, so the oven went off after the 30 minutes. So I took the cover off. We have another 45 seconds for this to be in the oven, and then we will take it out and we will look to see how well the plain sandwich, sourdough bread sandwich bread came out. And we've got our butter packet out so we can butter that one up. And then we will go ahead and cut into the bacon cheddar loaf since it's been 40 minutes that we'll let it sit out. But it smells so delicious in here, so I can't wait. Let's just get ready to take this out of the oven. I have rotated the bread in the oven once just so it kind of evenly bakes on each side. I did that off camera. So we can turn our oven off now since everything is done. Oh, it looks fabulous. So you can see it is a little browner on the top here than down here. It is a little lopsided. Like I said, it doesn't matter if your bread is perfect. It just matters how it tastes and if you like it. I'm not about perfection here. I'm just about it tasting good and making good, healthy, homemade bread. So let's go ahead and butter this one up. And again, just be careful because this literally just came out of the oven. Just let it soak up all that goodness. And I keep a paper towel underneath the bread just so it catches any butter dripping and doesn't get my counter all gross. But that's done. Let's move this all out of the way. Like I said, this has been on cooling down for about 40 minutes now. And let me just show you so you can see kind of where we swirled it up when we rolled it. You can see there's the seam that we pinch close at the bottom. Again, it is a little lopsided, which is okay. It's not going to affect the taste at all, but this is going to be delicious. So let's give it a cut. And because we didn't use quite as much bacon in this loaf, not every bite's gonna have bacon and cheddar. But let me see if I can get you. There we go. Look how beautiful that crumb is. It does have a bit of squishiness to it, like real sandwich bread. And let me grab my butter. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for, or at least I've been waiting for because I can eat it right now. So it's cooled down just enough. It's okay to touch without a hot mitt or anything. So there we go. Yeah, that's delicious. That bread, that loaf of bread will be gone today when the rest of my family gets home. That's good. So, hopefully, these last 3 videos have given you some inspiration to make your own. It's really not complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to give you any kind of anxiety. But you can stop buying that bread at the store. Make your own. It's really not that hard. Let me know in the question or in the comments if you have any questions or if you try to make it. Let me know. If you run into any problems, send me a question. I'll be more than happy to help to see if we can troubleshoot anything. I just want to give you guys some confidence in making your own bread. If you'd like another video on how to make the crusty loaves, I'd be more than happy to do that video as well. Just leave a comment below, and I appreciate y'all being here. Enjoy your bread.